Street Fight, new champions, brand trades, and the debut of Penta El Jobber. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. It's Netflix, it's WWE Raw, it is week 2, show 2, and this one, for some reason, clocked in at 2.5 hours. Now, apparently, according to PW Insider, there's a bit of heat on El Penta. His match reportedly went way too long. And his segment afterwards, the promo went way too long. A lot of people backstage supposedly not happy. But why would that matter on a show that, according to Triple H, can go as long or as short as he wants? Why would Triple H need to cut time from other matches and other promos when the show ended at 2.5 hours? Surely he could have just had it go 2:45 or 3 hours or 3:10 or whatever he wanted. But yeah, there is some news about Penta apparently overlasting his match or overstaying his welcome, and now he's pissed people off in week 1. So whether that's true or not too sure, but that is what PW Insider are reporting. But we start the show with CM Punk, and he comes down, he talks about the fires in California. Sucks what's happening there. So, I mean, shout out to everybody. Hope they're alright and stuff. Punk, though, you know, didn't pander that much, but he just says he hears everybody. He then talks about last week, how it was a big show. He says that there's a man that famously says you can't see him, but he sees John Cena. I see you, my friend. He says that Cena's declared himself for the Royal Rumble. Well, CM Punk is also out here to declare himself for the Royal Rumble, and he is going to point at the sign. His music is going to play, and he is going to go to WrestleMania. Music plays, but it's not Cult of Personality. It's Seth Rollins' music. Seth Rollins comes out. He says, I told you last week, win, lose, or draw. I'm going to be standing here in the middle of the ring. I'm a man of my word, and if I wasn't a man of my word, and if I didn't show up when times were hard, then I wouldn't be me. That would, in fact, be you. So Rollins went another dig at Punk. Punk then replies, but I would still be the winner, right? Seth Rollins says, I'd rather be the worst version of myself than any version of you. He talks about the Rumble, redemption. He's entering himself into the Rumble. Punk says, it's every man for himself, but Seth Rollins says it might be, but I'm going to take great pleasure in dumping your ass over the top rope. Punk takes from that Seth couldn't beat him in the middle of the ring, so he's going to take the easy way out and toss him over the top rope. But then McIntyre comes out. McIntyre says, how selfish, how disgusting can you be? And it turns out he's not talking about Punk, he says he's talking about Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins then invites Drew down to the ring. Drew says, you should look in the mirror real quick, because you are both alike. You are both the same. Punk then says that he's a winner. He's not like Seth Rollins. And he brings up Hell in a Cell. Tells Drew that if he comes down to the ring, he's going to need more than 14 staples to hold his head together like he did last time. Punk offers Drew a fight. Drew's coming down. Drew backs out. He's like, nah, I ain't going to fight you, not tonight. I ain't going to throw hands. Why would I do that in San Jose? But what I will do is I will enter the Royal Rumble. He talks about Roman Reigns is playing chess. All the other idiots are playing checkers. He says he needs to win the title before Roman gets his hands back on it. And to do that, he's going to win the Rumble and go to Mania. Thought it was a decent opening. I did think this was a decent opening. My only problem is there wasn't much after it. I mean, after this, we don't get CM Punk again. We don't get Drew McIntyre again. I think we got Seth Rollins. I mean, for like a split second, but I mean, this stuff should be filtered throughout the night. Surely, it should be like integrated throughout the night. But it was like one and done, pretty much. I mean, a good promo, but I mean, it was over after the opening segment, which was annoying. Then we got the first match, Chad Gable making his, not his debut, but making his first match against the incoming Penta. Penta with his debut. Match was overly long. I think it was long. I don't think it was that impressive. I was expecting Penta to be doing all these luchador style moves, and we just didn't see it. It was honestly just like a match that you'd see anybody else have with Gable. We've seen Gable have a lot better matches, to be honest, over the past year, whether it be against Jey Uso or Sami Zayn. We've seen Gable have better matches than this. So I mean, it honestly wasn't that good. Penta in the end wins with a Penta driver. Jackie Redmond then welcomes Penta to Raw. He cut a promo in Spanish. No idea what he said. Probably said, "El Jabba, me no AEW no more, me WWE." So shite. His family was at ringside. They were crying. I was almost crying having to watch this. So look, Penta debuted it. Why not just give Penta a 3-minute match and let him hit all his high luchador offense? Surely that would be a better way to debut the guy. No, am I not right? The way you should debut Penta should be to have him go on a winning streak and have all his like high flying, flashy maneuvers and try and showcase what this guy can do. You're calling him the second best luchador of all time. That's what Michael Cole called him. And what did we really see? Honestly, would you say based off tonight he's the second best luchador of all time? No. It was very unimpressive. He didn't do nothing. He did a dive from the ring to the outside. Everybody does that. That's in everybody's moveset, everybody's arsenal. I think we should have just had like a 3-4 minute match with Penta hitting a lot of high spots. To me, that would have did more for the guy rather than go 15-20 minutes and just have a average slow type of match. But is what it is. We then go backstage with the Judgment Day. Dominic Mysterio is in the bad books after what looked like he was trying to get back with Rhea last week. He gives Liv some roses, but Liv doesn't really want them. She gives them to Carlito, and Finn then says that he needs to stay in the back because he's going to handle business with Damien. So Dominic's got to handle business with Liv. Judgment Day business. We see Braun Breaker and Daniel Cormier at ringside. Braun Breaker, second week in a row, sitting in the crowd. What's the point? This guy's the IC champ. At least have us believe that he's going to be backstage cutting a promo, or he's backstage getting ready for a match, or he's backstage doing something. Braun Breaker, 2 weeks in a row, just sitting ringside like a fan. How fucking shite and lazy is this booking, honestly? Why do people accept this crap for Triple H? He is the Intercontinental Champion, and he's just sitting at ringside like a fan. Where's the belief that he could be wrestling tonight? He could be doing anything backstage, but we know he's not because he's just sitting there. Well, I don't understand why people think this is good. Are you a fan? Are you a paying customer with a ticket, or are you the fucking Intercontinental Champion? Do you remember when Ultimate Warrior had the IC belt? Would he have just sat at ringside like a fucking jobber? No, I mean, that wouldn't happen. But this happens now, and people just accept it as if it's good. I don't understand it, man. We get Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser. Just do not care for this. Seen it too many fucking times. Do not want to see it again. Sheamus wins. Good for him. Breaker then was shoving Sheamus. And people are going to say, well, that's why he was at ringside. Listen, you didn't need Braun Breaker at ringside to have him interact with Sheamus. He could have came out after the match. Sheamus could have called him out. You didn't need Breaker there at ringside, so I'm not buying that excuse. Kathy Kelly's backstage with Seth Rollins. Rollins says he's tired of Drew messing with him. Seth says he owes him one for last year's Mania. Next week it's going to be Seth versus Drew. Then Seth is speaking with Sami Zayn. He says, oh, it was a good week for you. You know, your boy got the Ula Vala back. And Sami, he gets asked, is he going to help Roman win the Rumble or help him beat Cody for the WWE Championship? Seth wants to know when Sami is finally going to look out for himself. I think the answer to that is never. We then see Karrion Kross. He is with The Miz. Miz tells him that the Wyatt Six have been moved to SmackDown. So there you go. Wyatt Six. Oh, the Wyatt Six. This group's over. This faction's over. Let's move them off Netflix. That's if you're going to SmackDown, then that pretty much tells me that you're not in big plans for WWE. They don't think that much of you if they're moving you to the blue brand, because Netflix, Raw, that's the A show right now. That's the show to be on. Sami Zayn and Miz get into an argument and they set up a match. So, I mean, do we really need to see Sami Zayn versus The Miz? I think at this point, The Miz's stock must be at an all-time low. So, aye. But then we see Obafemi sitting at ringside. Good for him. Gunther comes out, talks about last week, says there was a lot of interest, a monumental moment in the history of the company. It was a visual attraction. I was very impressed. But when it comes to the performances in the ring, I was less impressed because, let's be honest, beside me, none of the roster can fulfill these high expectations. And then he says, who cares about the head of the table or who's the best in the world. Nobody cares about that. The only prize worth fighting for is the World Heavyweight Championship. Right, so Gunther comes out and talks about how last week was a monumental moment, how big it was, first Raw ever on Netflix, and the guy wasn't even on the show. So that just shows you what they think of Gunther. He fucking buried himself. And it's embarrassing. This guy's the world champion of Raw, and he got like, what, a 20-second vignette last week. This guy should have been on Raw last week having a match or cutting a promo. Instead, he wasn't even fucking there. And he comes out this week claiming that he is the only thing that matters, the only prize is his world title. Well, he's that much of a prize that he wasn't on the big Netflix show last week, the debut show, honestly. And then he gets interrupted by Jey Uso because we can't let Gunther talk for more than a minute because he sucks at it. Jey comes out, basically says, look, family drama behind me, you, one-on-one, Saturday night, main event, World Heavyweight Championship, yeet. Gunther then says, are you serious about this? Jey also says, yeet. Gunther then talks about courage and all this stuff, and he says you're not capable, and I've already beaten you, Jey, blah, 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 blah. And he gives him the match. But Jey says, look, I may be a tag team guy, but I've stepped up on my own, and I'm going to be a world heavyweight champion. So, yeah, there we go. Saturday night, main event. No real feud, no real rivalry, just a throwaway fucking match. That's all the world title is now with Gunther in charge. Just a title that randomly, gets defended. Nobody believes that that Jey Uso's beating Gunther, but it is what it is. When was the last time Gunther actually had like a good rivalry where you felt like the title was in jeopardy? I mean, he's facing Sami Zayn, Jey Uso. Nobody believes that he's going to lose those matches. Nobody believes he's going to lose the belt to any of those guys. It's so bad. So fucking bad, man. Bayley then is at ringside. She rips Michael Cole a new one. Basically makes fun of him. Gets the crowd to chant Michael Cole's an idiot. Right, third match. Dakota Kai versus LYRA VALKYRIA for the brand new WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. Thought the match was decent. It was a nice suplex with the apron to the outside. I mean, both women gave it their all. But in the end, it was VALKYRIA who won. She hit the Nightwing. She picked up the victory. Adam Pearce gave her the title. She's the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. I hope that this manages to help the women's mid-card division get pushed and, develop into main eventers. And I hope organically that people can get into the world title mix via being the Intercontinental Champion. Hopefully this is a good way to build them. But all I think this is going to do is separate the women's division from the main event stars and everybody else. I think this mid-card belt is just a way to keep the women that aren't in the main event scene out of the main event scene. And I could be wrong, and you know what? 6 months, a year, maybe I'll say, I hold my hands up. This mid-card belt has done wonders. But I just don't see that being the case. I don't think that we're going to see the women, winning the IC belt and then gradually, maybe in a year or two, becoming legit main eventers in the women's division and going for the world title. I think this is just a way to give jobbers a belt to fight over. But yeah, we'll see. VALKYRIA wins. Good for her. Thought the match was actually pretty decent. Fourth match, Sami Zayn versus The Miz. This just fucking sucked. You know what? I like The Miz. The Miz has done a lot in WWE. But for me, is it maybe time for The Miz to go? Or I would maybe take him off TV. The Miz is... Maybe The Miz could be a GM. I don't know. But for me, I'm just not digging The Miz anymore. Something about The Miz, I've no interest. Perhaps if he took a few years off, that might be the best thing for him. Or maybe if he goes into Hollywood, and there's probably no demand for the guy, but maybe if he went into Hollywood and then came back after an extended time away, it might be a bit more interesting. But for me, The Miz is so tiring. Just no interest in The Miz. Sami Zayn beats him, and he's just become a big fucking jobber. We then got Rhea Ripley came out, said Mammy is on top. Just boring. Absolute boring. I'm Rhea bloody Ripley. I mean, fucking, how can people enjoy her? How can people think that Rhea's great? They made the wrong decision taking the belt off Liv. Nia Jax comes out, says she can't take it anymore, neither can I. She was talking to Adam Pearce about the trades, and it looks like she wants to trade herself to Raw. So, looks like we've got Nia Jax coming to Raw, and the Wyatt Six going to SmackDown. She says that she is the real, dominant person in the women's division. So, Tiffy might think she's at the Tiffy top, and Mammy might think she's on top. And Bayley over here, I don't even know what you're doing. I'm not surprised you're for this shitey town, but I'm the woman that is truly on top of this division. Bayley then gets in the ring. Bayley says, "Why don't you say this to my face?" We get a bit of a brawl. Bayley and Rhea team up to take out Nia, and then they hug after that. So, yeah. Boring. It is what it is. Rhea Ripley. I just do not like Rhea Ripley. I don't think she should be champion, man. I mean, you look at, she's been in the world title picture for like 3 years straight now. I mean, it's just move on. You know, just should have been Liv. Liv should have won. Next week we're going to get the New Day. They're going to be returning to the ring. JBL will be at Raw. So there you go. And obviously, like we said earlier, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, WrestleMania rematch. Main event time. Got Damien Priest in the ring. He's got a candlestick. He is waiting for Finn Balor. The line starts behind me. So Finn Balor, the line actually starts behind Damien Priest because Balor comes from behind, attacks Priest with a candlestick. This starts a street fight. We get lots of candlestick shots. They brawl around the arena. They climb to like the top of the stands, and we get a Falcon Arrow suplex from Priest off the balcony through a bunch of tables on Balor. It's a pretty good spot. I mean, this kind of slowed down the pace of the match. Damien Priest made his way back to the ring, whereas Balor was put on a stretcher. He was getting wheeled out of there. Judgment Day came out to check on Balor. Priest thought, "I'm not done with Balor." Priest then went up, beat up Carlito, beat up JD McDonough. He then pushed Balor back down to ringside. Balor fell into the ring. Damien Priest continued to beat up Balor. Balor had a neck brace on. We then got Carlito with a backstabber on Priest. It became 3-on-1. Judgment Day beating down Damien. Damien in trouble. Finn Balor hit the coup de grace. Damien kicks out, and then we get the War Raiders, the tag team champions. How irrelevant are these guys? You know, totally forgot they were even on the fucking show. Honestly, put the belts back on Balor and JD, or even if you want Balor to be the main event guy of the Judgment Day, give Carlito a belt, or give Dominic the belt. Honestly, man, just put the belts back on the Judgment Day. The War Raiders suck. These two big, fat, fucking useless guys, man. What are they doing? Never been impressed. Call them the Viking Raiders, the Viking Warriors, the War Express. It doesn't matter what you call them. They suck. They're two overweight guys that have zero personality, man. Zero personality. Just fucking bland and boring and just not over. It never will be over. And very forgetful. I forgot they were even here. I forgot they were the champs. So they come out, even up the odds, take care of JD, take care of Dominic. This leaves Balor alone with Damien. Balor then delivers a coup de grace through a table. But then Priest spears Balor through the ringside barricade. So we get some decent spots here. And then Priest hits a razor's edge through another table. Just loads of table spots. Then he rolls Balor into the ring. Priest then plants Balor with his South of Heaven chokeslam to pick up the victory. And Damien Priest wins the street fight. Raw ends pretty early with Damien Priest celebrating in the ring. I mean, I think it was like 2 hours and 30 minutes, 2 hours and 35 minutes there, Raw ended at. So, yeah, that was interesting to see Raw finish that early, especially considering that they can go as long as they want or as short as they want. But I think the whole news about Triple H having to, you know, cut some segments in matches doesn't make any sense to me, because the show can go 3 hours. So if they're cutting it short, why are they complaining about a lack of time from Penta? That's PW Insider reporting that. Maybe they're bullshit. Maybe they're trying to, you know, stir up drama. Who knows? But look, I thought this Raw had some decent things on it. Arguably better than last week's Raw. I know you didn't have all the stars and you missed that John Cena promo, but you had a good main event. I thought the opener was pretty good. I thought the women's IC title match was decent. Was there anything else alright? I mean, probably not. I'm trying to think of what else we had. No, that's probably it. You know what, guys? I gave last week a 3 out of 10. I don't think this show was worse, but it did lack, obviously, the stars of last week. So I'm going to give this show a 3 out of 10. I mean, not great, but not the worst Raw I've ever seen. It was bang average at best. But yeah, that's it. I'm giving it a 3 out of 10. Let me know what you think down below. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, peace. Penta peace.